As part of this particular information security lab, we are going to see the concepts such as the basic encryption and decryption techniques, and we are going to see a very popular public key algorithm called RSA algorithm, and some other techniques of the securing the data, and also we are going to see the concept of the steganography, which is where we are going to secure the images, so that the original content of the image cannot be displayed out. So this is called steganography. Next one is analyzing the Wireshark, analyzing the packets or analyzing the packet information or traffic information of a particular protocol, or maybe a wide variety of protocols that are used in the computer networks via using Wireshark. That is the fourth one. And applying the security techniques to the real world, that is the fifth one. So here are the course outcomes. Here 1 to 5 are there. The first one is to demonstrate and illustrate the different cipher techniques and understand various antivirus and anti-worms, these kind of concepts. So this is a basic understanding level. Next one is develop and make a code to implement various symmetric key, asymmetric key cryptographic techniques, steganography techniques, and applying the client server programming. Anyhow, this client server programming you might have done in the computer networks and IoT lab previously. So the same concepts can be um, uh, utilized here for implementing this data encryption standard and RS algorithm. Just by passing the data from the client to server, while passing, you are supposed to pass through the data encryption standard, and the whatever the resultant you will get, that is the encrypted form. That encrypted form must be sent on to the server or sent to the second side, client side or receiver side. Once the receiver receives that particular encrypted form, then it has to decrypt via using the decryption algorithm. If it is a public key algorithm, obviously it has to use its own private key to decrypt it. If it is a symmetric key algorithm, then the same key will be used for which is used for the encryption. The same key will be used for the decryption also. So this concept we are going to see in the third part, that is apply a client server program for data encryption standard DES and RS algorithm. Next one is examine and analyze the packet information for different protocols using Wireshark. And anyhow, in the computer networks and IoT lab also, you might have done this particular work. Uh, Next one is apply security techniques to real world problems. So most of the concepts that you may be aware of, but here we are mainly focusing on the symmetric key and asymmetric key cryptographic techniques and client server programming. While applying this client server programming, how can we implement this public key and symmetric key algorithms, and also how to analyze the packets via using the Wireshark. These are the three main focus areas for this particular lab. As part of this lab, you are supposed to explore the following items with respect to the information security, that is cryptography, cryptanalysis, attacks, encryption or decryption, plain text or ciphertext. So what is the cryptography? I hope you might have known the cryptography concept. Cryptography is nothing but the art of securing the data. So cryptography deals with a wide variety of algorithms which will make the data in ununderstandable form and can be interpreted or can be read by only one who are intended to do that particular algorithm again with a particular security mechanism which is called security keys. So this is what called cryptography means. And one more thing is cryptography is simply, we can say in one line, it is art of making secrets. While coming to the cryptanalysis is the art of breaking the secrets. So it's quite reverse of the cryptography. Cryptography is the art of making the secret, while coming to the cryptanalysis is the art of breaking the secret. Basically, this cryptography will give the mainly four properties. First property is confidentiality. Next one is integrity. Another one is authentication. And final one, fourth one is non-repudiation. So the first one is confidentiality. Second one is integrity. Third one is authentication. And fourth one is non-repudiation. So these are the four properties that are supported by cryptography. And we can also say these are the four pillars of the cryptography. So confidentiality is nothing but you are making the data or you are converting the data in a confidential way so that the anyone who are in the when the data is transmitting from the party A to party B, the data cannot be interpreted by the intruders or the spoofers over the communication channel. So that is what we call confidentiality means. This confidentiality will be achieved using encryption. While coming to the authentication, a security key will be given to the participating parties such that using this key, the encrypted data will be decrypted. So, in order to decrypt this data, they need to have a key. A security key must be there. With that security key only, that particular encrypted data can be decrypted. That means a person is authenticated when he holds a valid security key. So the receiver is authenticated. A receiver is said to be authenticated if he have a valid security key and he will be in a position to decrypt the encrypted data. So encryption, whatever the data which is encrypted, this is said to be cipher text. So before encryption, it is said to be before encryption, the text, the data is said to be plain text. After encryption, it is said to be after encryption, it is said to be ciphertext. Okay. Now this ciphertext, spelling maybe CIPHER, ciphertext. So this ciphertext, whenever an authenticated user uses the valid security key, and with that security key, if he can convert this ciphertext to the plain text, then it is said to be decryption. So decryption is the process of converting the ciphertext to plain text using valid security key and decryption algorithm. So this is what is called authentication and confidentiality. While coming to this, in this particular conversion or encryption form, there are wide variety of encryption techniques. So mainly there are two categories of encryption techniques. One is symmetric key encryption. Second one is asymmetric key encryption. Symmetric key is nothing but for encryption and decryption process, we use the same key. Same key is used for both encryption and decryption. While coming to the asymmetric, a pair of keys are generated. Pair of keys are generated, which is called public key and secret key, such that public key can be known to the rest of the users, while the secret key will be private to the participant. The meaning of this is the asymmetric key encryption algorithms will be having a key generation algorithm which will generate always a pair of keys in which the first key is said to be the public key and second key is said to be the secret key or private key. The public key can be known to anyone. The name itself telling you that it is public. This public key can be known to anyone. While coming to the secret key, must be known only to the intended user. Okay, no other should know this secret key. So since the public key is known to anyone, if anyone wants to send the data to you, they will encrypt this particular data using the public key and will be sending to you. Once you receive that, the encrypted data, using your private key, the data will be decrypted. That is what the asymmetric key encryption. The advantage of this asymmetric key encryption is the symmetric key, the secret key or private key is known only to you. No one knows this, so that no one can decrypt this particular encrypted data. The main problem with the symmetric key is, since for the encryption and decryption the same key is used, if anyone if anyone know the key in the transit of the data, so they can easily decrypt it and they can they can easily decrypt it and they can get the plain text. And one thing is, if you lost this key or if this key was leaked out, obviously it is very easy for anyone to decrypt this. And one more thing is, in symmetric key encryption, all the participating parties in the communication should be knowing this particular symmetry. So whenever they know the symmetric key, you cannot say that all the participants of the in the communication are trustworthy. Some may be misuse, or some may be intentionally join the communication and they may obtain the symmetry. And some may be the hackers, or some may be the spoofers, some may be the intruders. They may join the communication and they may also get the symmetry. So once this symmetric key is leaked out, it is very difficult for the entire communication process to safeguard the encrypted data. They can easily decrypt the data. That is what the problem with the symmetric key algorithms. While coming to the asymmetric key, this pair of key generation is independent to each participant in the communication. For example, there are participants like A, B, C, D. So A will get a separate pair of keys, B will get separate pair of keys, C will get separate pair of keys. If A want to announce his public key, he can openly announce the public key. But this secret key must be kept with him only. So whenever he announced the public key, so rest of the people like B, C, D, E, those people will know the public key. If they want to send data to the A, then they will use the public key of A and encrypt it and will send to the A. So who is the intended recipient here? A. So whenever A receives it, using this secret key, he will decrypt it. That is what the asymmetric key algorithm. That is what the advantage of asymmetric algorithm. So RSA is one of the popular public key algorithm, and we can also say asymmetric key algorithm. This asymmetric key algorithm encryption is also said to be public key algorithms. Okay, so example of this is the RSA algorithm. While coming to the symmetric key, there are very many algorithms are available for the symmetric key, like AES, DES. So these are the various symmetric key algorithms. Okay, I hope by this time you have got an idea of the encryption and decryption mechanism. So in our lab, we are going to see this particular encryption and decryption algorithms. So encryption, decryption, plain text, ciphertext, symmetric, asymmetric. So this ciphertext, that means ununderstandable form, can be achieved via the symmetric encryption or asymmetric encryption, or maybe with the conventional or the earlier days, whenever this cryptography is just evolving. At the time, people have used the cipher algorithms such as Caesar cipher, monoalphabetic cipher, Playfair cipher, Hill cipher, polyalphabetic cipher, one-time pad, and Railfriends cipher. These are the various cipher algorithms they have used. They are broadly classified, these algorithms, as substitution algorithms and transposition algorithms. In the substitution cipher, substitution encryption, in the place of plain text, an alternate text will be replaced. That is called substitution. Wherever A is there, for example, in a text, if there exists A or B or something, so instead of A, they will replace it with some other text or number or symbol. Like that, every character will be replaced. That is what thing called substitution cipher. A transposition cipher is one like they will arrange the entire text into a matrix form, and they use some transposition kind of algorithms so that the text can be ununderstandable. So that in the transit of the communication, in the transit of the data, no one can understand this particular cipher. This is what the basic idea of the transposition cipher. So as part of this lab, in the first week, you are going to see these algorithms, which is called substitution encryption and transposition encryption. And first of all, before moving on to this, first of all, how we will do this particular encryption? How we will do this particular encryption? So we may use the keys, the symmetric keys, asymmetric keys, or you may use this substitution encryption or transposition encryption. In this ways, you are supposed to do this particular algorithm. Whenever you use a key, then how can you perform this particular encryption? Let's say, for example, the key that I am going to use, key to be used is, say, for example, 5113, something. And the plain text, what I am going to send is, hello, how are you? This is the plain text I want to send. Now, using this key, how I can make it? How can I create a ciphertext? Usually, the ciphertext will be created like this. The encryption procedure of this particular plain text will be like this. The character of the plain text with exclusive OR operation of key. That means each character H XOR with the key, that is 5113. And whatever the form you will get, whatever the output you will get, that you will consider. And next is E. E XOR 5113. L XOR 5113. So like that, every character in the plain text will be exclusively ORed with the key 5113, so that you will get a character which is completely ununderstandable, like maybe dollar, maybe like this, or maybe like this. Some Zung characters you will get like this. You cannot understand what is this character and all. Okay. So for understanding purpose, I am giving these symbols. Hello XOR L XOR 5113. So O XOR 5113 is equal to Scarlet. Now these particular characters will be sent over the communication channel. So while in the transit, if anyone spoof this data, they cannot understand. They will understand it as a symbols only, or some junk characters. They cannot get what is the original data. But at the receiving end, whenever the receiver receives this, and if they might have received this, and what they will do is they will do the same operation, that is XOR with the key 5113. Then they will get the original text. E XOR 51, sorry, not E. This is at the rate XOR 5113. Then they will get E. That means while sending, you are supposed to do the exclusive OR operation with the key, so that you will get some junk characters. This will be saved in an array of characters, and these characters will be sent onto the communication channel. At the receiving end, as they receive these particular characters, they will do the same operation, exclusive OR operation, with the key what they have shared, and they will get the original text. And they will understand, the receiver will understand the original text. So in programming, how this particular exclusive OR will be used? In programming, this exclusive OR will be used as the cap symbol. So this cap symbol you will find on the number 6 in the keyboard. So you have to press Shift 6. On top of the 6 you will find this cap symbol. So this H cap symbol 5113 is equal to that junk character. That means this cap symbol will be used as the exclusive OR operation. So the XOR operation will be used with the cap symbol. So in doing programs, you are supposed to use cap symbol for exclusive OR operation. I hope by this time you got an idea of how this particular encryption and decryption will be done, and what are the, if you are using keys, how this particular encryption decryption will be done. If you are not using keys, then by using substitution encryption and transposition encryption, what are the different methods available? So here we'll see one method which is called scissor cipher. So this scissor cipher, so in order to go to the scissor cipher, I have given you a document in the Google Classroom. You may go through that particular document. So here scissor cipher, the substitution cipher in general, a substitution technique is one which the letters of plain text are replaced by other letters or by numbers or symbols. If the plain text is viewed as the sequence of bits, then the substitution involves replacing the plain bits pattern with the cipher bit pattern. So here is an example, scissor cipher. The earliest known use of a substitution cipher and the simplest was by Julius Caesar. The scissor cipher involves replacing each letter of the alphabet with the letter standing 3 places further down the alphabet. For example, here is the plain text, meet me after the toga party. Now M is there. Now M will be replaced with the 3 letters down to this particular number. letter. So M N O P. Okay. So that is 3 letters down. M N O P. So M will be replaced with P and E will be replaced with H. So E F G H. E will be replaced with H. T will be replaced with W. T U V W. Next M will be replaced with P. So like that, each letter will be replaced with a down 3 letters, down by the third letter. So like that, this plain text will be replaced with the that is plain text will be converted into ciphertext. Now, the meet me after toga party will convey you some information, but this PHW, PH, DIWH, you see, this is not conveying any information. So if anyone spoof it also, they cannot get the information. So that is what the basic idea of this elementary cryptography concepts, where the many ancient kings used to follow to make the secret, the important information secret, while carrying by the intelligence people over there in that particular kingdoms. So these are the various basic ciphers. So how can you formulate? Because you cannot directly go and replace it. So there should be a formulation of the conversion to the ciphertext. So how can you formulate? So for example, here is a plain text. So whenever A is there, then it should be replaced with the D, and B is there, it should be replaced with E. C is there, it should be replaced with F, like that. So let will go for assigning of a number to the each letter. So A means 0, B means 1, C is 2, D is 3, E is 4, like that. So once you do this up to Z, so Z is 25. So that means total alphabets in English are 26. So we are labeling it from 0 to 25. So then you can recall whatever the characters are there that will fall under this particular range of 0 to 25. That means can't we take in mathematically can't we take modulo 26, so that any operation will fall under this range of 0 to 25. So the ciphertext will be like this: encryption of the plain text, the whatever the character you have taken plus 3 modulo 26. So again, it will fall under this range, and you will the character, whatever the character you want to you want to convey, you want to convert into cipher, that character will be incremented by 3 letters and will be modulated with 26. So whenever you want to send A, then 0 plus 3 is 3 and mod 26. So 0 plus 3 is 3, mod 26 is 3 only. So whenever A is there, then 3 corresponding value, 3 corresponding character, which is D. So wherever A is there, which is replaced with a D. So this is a simple formulation. Whenever the plain text you want to convert into cipher with the scissor cipher, the scissor cipher principle is whatever the character you want to convey, down the 3 characters and replace that character with that down third character. So this is what the basic idea of the scissor cipher. So this is a simple formulation that we have made. So, and wherever k takes a value between the range of 1 to 25, whenever we want to decrypt it, so decryption will be done like this: the character minus k. So what is the k value here? 3. So c minus k mod 26. So you will get the plain text. So this is the encryption procedure, and while coming to here, it is a decryption procedure. So this is the based upon the principle of this particular ciphertext or cipher formation. We need to formulate a formula, or we need to create a formula, and that formula can be easily used or easily programmable, so that we can easily write the program and we can execute it. So theoretically, if it is given like this, the scissor cipher involves replacing each letter of alphabet with the letter standing 3 places further down the alphabet. This is a simple statement, but while doing programming, we must create a plain text like this, we could have an analysis to this. Then this particular array and what call a table kind of thing we have formulated. Then with this help of this, we have gone for formulation of a formula, and after this formula for the encryption and formula for the decryption. Whenever the formula is there, it is also very easy for programming. This is what the simple example that I can show you with the help of the Caesar cipher. So here, not only Caesar cipher, there are other cipher texts available like monoalphabetic cipher, Playfire cipher, kill cipher, polyalphabetic cipher, one-time pad, rail enforce cipher. This is transposition cipher, which is based upon the matrix formulation. So here, these are the concepts of confidentiality where encryption come into picture, where plain text is converted into cipher text. Whenever you use keys, this is the way of doing, and whenever you use conventional or the legacy encryption standards like substitution and transposition cipher, in which we have seen one example of Caesar cipher. So while coming to the using of keys, whenever valid security key is there, then only that fellow is authenticated and can decrypt the particular key, decrypt the particular encrypted data. Now, we have left over with two things like is integrity and non-repudiation. Usually this integrity will be achieved with the help of integrity is nothing but the data, or we can say integrity is the way of checking whether the original data is tampered or not. So for this, we are going to use the cryptographic hash algorithms. Cryptographic hash algorithms for checking the integrity. Like for example, I have a data. I will use any of the cryptographic hash algorithms. For example, examples like this: MD5, SHA1, SHA2. Like that, many cryptographic hash algorithms are there. Whenever these cryptographic hash algorithms are used, so if I say MD5 algorithm is used, on MD5 algorithm, you can place any length string, any length data. Either it may be 1 bit or maybe 1 byte, maybe 1000 bytes or 1 gigabyte. That is up to you. You can place any length data. So MD5 of data will give you a message digest, okay, or hash. So based upon the algorithm that you use, the message digest will be created, and whenever this message digest is created, so obviously along with this data, this message digest will also be sent to the receiver. But whenever the receiver receives it, the same data will be passed again on the same cryptographic hash algorithm. He will generate the message digest. The message digest sent by the sender and the message digest obtained by at the receiver end, if both are equal, that means the data has not been tampered in the transit of the communication. Otherwise, the receiver will come to know that the message has been tampered. So in this way, the integrity will be maintained in the integrity will be sustained in the communication with the help of cryptographic hash algorithms. While coming to the non-repudiation is the method of a sender cannot deny that he has not sent the message in future. That means a sender has sent the data, but in future he cannot deny that I have not sent this particular message. This is called non-repudiation property. So this is achieved with the help of public key and digital signatures. So anyhow, this public key and digital signatures is a very public key algorithms we have seen in a brief way. And one more thing is whenever these public key algorithms are there, the pair of keys, public key and secret key, are individual to each user, and both the keys can be used for both encryption and decryption. So whenever you do the encryption using public key and decryption using secret key, then it is said to be asymmetric key encryption. But if you do in reverse, if you do encryption using secret key and decryption using public key, then it is said to be digital signature. Okay. So in this particular non-repudiation property, the sender are the one who want to establish that I have sent this particular communication. That fellow will encrypt the data using the secret key of his own, and it will be sent out. Since the public key of his public key is known to everyone, so they can easily verify by decrypting using the public key of the person who has sent the message, so that in future he cannot deny that I have not sent the message, because the secret key is known only to that person, not to anyone. So that is the reason he cannot deny this particular sending of the data. So in this way, this non-repudiation property will be achieved. And in this non-repudiation, they will also use the public keys, digital signatures, and also the cryptographic hash algorithms. So they may encrypt the plain text using secret key, or they may encrypt the message digest that was obtained via the cryptographic hash function using the secret key. They may do anything. Either if they do with the message digest, then it is said to be digital signature. If they do normally, then it is said to be general way of checking the non-repudiation. So as part of our lab, we are going to mainly focus on the confidentiality and authentication part, where we are going to see the conventional or the legacy encryption algorithms, that is conversion of the plain text to ciphertext using substitution and transposition cipher, and we are going to see the data encryption standard, and we are going to see the RSA algorithm, which is a popular asymmetric key algorithm. So here is the simple example that I have presented here. For example, if you look at understanding the following codes and examine which encryption technique is used. So this is a simple program in C programming, inclusion of the header files. Then here an array of 30 characters were declared. Then enter the plain text by using getAs. The data has been taken. Now enter the key value. So as I told you here, just now here the key is used is 5113. That is up to you, whatever the key you want to use. Usually the key should be in a prime number and should be much lengthy as possible. Okay. So this is general precautions people will take. So enter the key value. So scanf %d %key. The key value has been taken. Now for I is equal to 0, string length of data. You don't know how much string length you might have given. For example, if I have given the hello, how are you? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So even though data is of 30 size, but I have given only 17 characters, including white spaces. So for I is equal to 0, I less than string length of data I plus plus. If data of I not equal to the space, okay, or empty. If data of I is greater than or equal to data of string length of data minus 1 minus key. Okay. So data of I is equal to data of I minus 26. Data of I is equal to, if not this one, then data of I is equal to data of I plus key. Now if you use this, what type of ciphertext you will get? So that means here, let for example, don't take the key as 5113. Instead, you take it as around 11 or 10 or some small number you take, so that it can easily understandable. Let's say, for example, I have used a key called 11, and the string length is string length DTH. String length is equal to 17. That is hello, how are you? And key is 11. Now, if data of I not equal to empty space or space, then if data of I is greater than or equal to data of I means, what is the data of I? H. For example, I is 0, so the first character is H. The first character is H. So H is greater than or equal to data of string length of data minus 1 minus key. So here data of I is H is greater than or equal to data of string length. String length is 17 minus 1 minus 11. So what it means is 5. Okay. So data of 17 minus 1 minus 11. So which means H is greater than or equal to data of 12. So data of 5. What is data of 5 is, so this is the in hello world, this is the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the white space. So that means this value is, that is H means the corresponding ASCII character may be greater than or equal to this one. Then data of I is equal to, that is data of 0, H is equal to H minus 26. That is H corresponding ASCII character, ASCII value minus 26. Whatever is there, that is the character that will be placed in place of data of I. So H may be in ASCII character. H means, for example, if it is a capital letter, A is 65, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72. So 72 minus 26. What could be the character in the ASCII character set? That will be in the data of I. I hope by this time you got it, right? So this is the way, some trick has been, some algorithmic trick has been placed here, so that some character will be assigned instead of H. So data of I, otherwise, if it is not so, then if the data of I is not equal to this one, it will be checked. Otherwise, data of I is equal to data of I plus key. So H is equal to, for example, if it is not so, this one, okay, then H of I, that means if H is not greater than or equal to data of 5, then data of I is equal to data of I plus key. That means H, that is 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72. 72 plus the key value, that is 11. Whatever is the value you will get, that will be there in the data of I. So like that, by the time the entire string is completed, the the ciphertext, whatever you got, that will be there in the data. So this is the ciphertext that you will get. While coming to this, the same ciphertext you can also convert into the plain text in the reverse manner. Here is the code that you will find. This one for the this is the code for the encrypting the plain text into the ciphertext. And another program also being given. Then in the same way, you have to understand what could be the ciphertext that you will get out of this particular plain text. So let will understand this particular program also. Here you will be having the void main, here character s of 30 and k of 27, c of 30, int I index. So enter plain text. The plain text has been captured. Enter the key with 26 characters. So here the key should be of length 26. So 26 characters key length should be there. And whenever the for I is equal to 0, I less than 26, I plus plus, printf percentile c, I plus 97. So what is this 97? The character sets are there, which are for small letters it will start, capital letters may be starting from 65, and small letters may be starting from 97. This we might have seen in the ASCII character set. So that 97, that means we are going to add 97 with this, so that the corresponding character will get. So k of I is equal to get ch. So dynamically we are going to collect this particular character and printf of k of I. And for I is equal to 0, I less than string length of s. What is string length of s? The plain text that you have taken. I plus plus index is equal to s of I minus 97. So whatever the first character is there, s of 0 minus 97, whatever you will get, that will be in the index, and ciphertext of I is equal to k of index, that will be placed here. So here an algorithm has been used with the help of the key. That means whatever the key is there, the key values will be compared with some formula, mathematical formula over here as like this, and is subtracted with 97, and whatever the index you will get from the key, that index value will be taken and placed in the ciphertext. So printf your ciphertext is, and for I is equal to 0, I less than string length of s, I plus plus, and the ciphertext will be placed onto the screen. Now after reading this substitution cipher, transposition cipher, just to go through this, copy this code and paste it in the code blocks, or you may type on your own. Once you run this code and give the plain text, what could be the ciphertext? Now what you're supposed to do is you need to write on paper that what is the algorithm, ciphertext algorithm is being used, how it is working, and once the plain text is converted into ciphertext, with your understanding of that algorithm, you have to design a formula that will give you the plain text whenever the ciphertext has been taken or ciphertext has been given. So once you understand the ciphertext conversion procedure, then just reverse of that will get the plain text procedure. So this is the task given to you. Once you understand this Caesar cipher, monoalphabetic cipher, and all these ciphers, transposition and encryption, you go through this program, or first you go through this program otherwise, and understand what is the algorithm. You can write on paper and you can formulate it, and if you want to do like this, you can do many number of encryption algorithms by the understanding of these the existing algorithms.